Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So after a gap of 1.5 months, we resume the study of Katha Upanishad, Death with a Difference, and I see some new faces. So for their benefit, we were studying Katha Upanishad and we had seen how Nachiketa, while seeing that his father was performing a sacrifice which required that the best things be given by way of charity, but he was giving the worst useless things. And then a question arose in Nachiketa's mind, and he went and questioned his father in a very commonsensical way, balanced way, that father, whom are you going to give me to? And father, because he was annoyed at this disturbing behavior by his son, he said just like that I am giving you to death. But to keep up the word of his father, Nachiketa actually went to death and stayed there for 3 days and nights. When Yama came back, wherever he had gone, so from there when he came back, he was advised by his relatives or friends that this Brahmin was waiting in your house at your doorstep, was not given proper hospitality, and so you have to make amends for that, you have to do some compensation. And so Nachiketa was given 3 boons. And the first boon he asked, again displaying a tremendous presence of mind, is that when I go back to my father should accept me as his son as he used to accept me earlier. He should not say that I am a ghost. Second, he said that please teach me the methods of the sacrifice, a particular sacrifice by which I can attain to material prosperity in this world. And Yama gave him another boon in addition to those 3 boons, and that boon was that sacrifice will be hereafter called after Nachiketa. It will be called the Nachiketa sacrifice. And the third boon which Yama asked and probably Yama was asked and probably was put in trouble was that what happens after death? Does the individual remain or the individual perish? So this question was a $1 million question, as we say, and Nachiketa asked this question to Lord Yama, Lord of Death. And from there we see that Yama said that you ask me anything, I give you all the pleasures, etc., etc. There were a lot of temptations, and he kept on increasing the variety of temptations, the kinds of temptations, yet Yama was Nachiketa was steadfast in his demand to understand the truth or the secret of immortality, what happens after death. So this was what we saw in the first valli, that is first subsection or chapter of the first part of Katha Upanishad. And in the second part, which we will be taking up today, we will see what is going to happen next. Means how is it that Yama going to explain what happens after death. Here I would like to share a personal note, and that is the first time when I was reading Katha Upanishad. You see, this Upanishad is one of the Upanishads which was highly praised by Swami Vivekananda. And he said that you should memorize this Upanishad, you should read this Upanishad. Last 12th this month, we celebrated the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. And on 3rd of the next month, we will celebrate his Tithi, that is the date of the lunar calendar, which is followed by Indian tradition. And again, there will be a lot of worship, puja, etc. So this Swami Vivekananda, whose 150th birth anniversary celebrations we are celebrating, he said that you should memorize Katha Upanishad. And Swami Ranganathananda ji, who was the 13th president of Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission, he joined the Ramakrishna order as a young boy at Mysore. And the job which he was given was, as he used to fondly remember in later days, was of a dishwasher and a cook. So that's what he was doing. And when he used to wash the dishes or do the dishes and cook, he used to have the text of Katha Upanishad or later on many other Upanishads and the Gita, and he used to memorize that. So much for all of us who have lot of excuses for not doing such activities, saying that we are having so much of work. So a person who was actually doing cooking and dishwashing used to have these books in front of him and also parallelly memorize these texts. So when I was studying Katha Upanishad, when I first started reading Katha Upanishad, it was like great suspense to me, something like probably Baldakai or something like that, you know, in today's fiction terms. I was like, okay, now I will come to know what will happen after death, and then I will have a kind of halo behind my head or something like that. But unfortunately, even after having read the Katha Upanishad, not only one edition, not only one book, many books, many commentaries, having listened countless times of Katha Upanishad, my position doesn't seem to get any better. So there is a secret, but I think that secret is yet to reveal itself to me. So where is the solution? So should we not read Katha Upanishad? Should we say that the whole thing is a farce? Definitely not, because Katha Upanishad itself will later on say, which I have been quoting here many a times, that Sukshmaya Shukshma Darshivihi Esha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Gudo Atma Na Prakashate Drishya Tu Agraya Buddhya Sukshmaya Shukshma Darshivihi. That this Atman is pervading all the living beings. It is present inside all the living beings. Na Prakashate. But it is not manifest, it is not visible. Drishyate tu, but it is indeed visible to a person who is Agraya Buddhya, who has got a keen intellect, sharp intellect, Sukshmaya Sukshma Darshivi, and who can see the subtle of the subtlest. So that kind of intellect we have to develop, not only on the material plane but also on the spiritual and the finer intellect. And once you have this intellect in place, ready, then automatically you understand what happens after death. We have two publications in English, that is. One by Swami Vivekananda, it's called Life Beyond Death, Life After Death. And another one by Swami Abhedananda, of course it is not published by the Ramakrishna order, but by a different institution called Ramakrishna Vedanta Mutt, which he founded. It is called Life After Death. So this life beyond, and another book he has also written, Life Beyond Death. So the moment you keep these books on the bookstall, on the counter, they simply sell like hotcakes, because everyone is eager to know what happens after death. And I am quite sure that most of the people who read these books read in the same enthusiasm as I first read the Katha Upanishad, only to understand that these are all very difficult things and they simply shut, because we are looking for some shortcut method. We are looking for some patch up work which will somehow take to the ultimate conclusion of what happens after death without doing anything. Now, some particular jugaad, that is what we are looking for. And if we can somehow manage and understand what will happen after death, so we can in one way become immortal. But that is quite far from actual circumstances. That is that you have to strive very hard to understand the secret of your own personality. And that is what here Katha Upanishad is all about. That is why I like to call it death with a difference, because here we are talking about death, but with the very clear understanding, at least understanding which has been handed down to us by the scriptures and our tradition, that death is just a passing phase. It is not something which changes your personality. Your personality is not affected by death. Because we are starting again from after a gap of 6 weeks, I like to ask some questions and also expect some answers, of course. Questions not of the sort of kisne kaha, kyun kaha, kab kaha, not that kind of questions, where you can just tell me the facts and all that. No, because I expect that you already know all those things. According to me, the first part of the Katha Upanishad you have already memorized and you are experts on that. So I will not ask you those questions. I will ask you some conceptual questions. For example, while we were revising what happened in Katha Upanishad, I was telling you that Nachiketa was waiting for 3 days and nights, as the Upanishad itself says, and that the home ministry or the relatives of Yama said that, oh, this fellow is waiting here for so many days now. He is a Brahmin boy and he is waiting, and unless you are going to fulfill some of his wishes or accommodate him, as we say nowadays, we have this wonderful word, accommodate. You have to accommodate everybody. So unless you are going to accommodate Nachiketa, you are going to be in serious trouble. Can any one of you tell me that today, when we are talking about a caste-free society, when we are talking about a society, okay, I will bold, underline and italics, talking about, okay, because in practice we seldom find that. So when we are talking about a society free from distinctions, free from class troubles, why should we really care about what Yama thought of a Brahmin, quote unquote, boy?
Who understands self. It's not Brahmin by Mukherjee or Banerjee, but the fellow who understands Brahma, who understands the self.
Wonderful. Brahmacharati iti Brahman hai. But I have another question which is being generated because of your answer. If Nachiketa understood his self, then the third boon was not necessary. So Nachiketa did not understand his self, at least not when he was waiting for Yama. So why Brahmin boy?
He was honest.
He was honest. So is every honest person called a Brahmin? Who is a Brahmin?
One whose pursuit is to try to unravel Brahman, understand that such a person is Brahman.
Yes? Same thing. Oh. Yeah.
Mind, action and thoughts all should be one and the same.
he is a Brahmin. Okay. So as our friend Somnath ji has correctly pointed out, Brahma means there are many shlokas for this, but the idea is a person who is in the pursuit of the knowledge of Brahman is called a Brahmin. And as he rightly pointed out, one will have a coherence or identity of both what one thinks, thought and speech and also action. So that's basically the aspect of truthfulness.
Swamiji, the answer given by that lady, that is, who remains in Brahma, that he is only Brahmin, or the pursuit of Brahman is Brahman.
See, if you accept that answer, at that level there is no caste. So at that level, even a person who is devoted to service of others, that is the real meaning of the word Shudra. And if that is the case, then everybody will be not a Brahmin unless they attain, and so even a Shudra will become a Brahmin. So that exactly is not the definition. The definition is who is in the pursuit of knowledge, knowledge being not material knowledge, but knowledge of oneself. Just if you are in the pursuit, on the path, you become a Brahmin. That is the idea. So, yes, this is what Nachiketa was. So a person who is in the pursuit of knowledge has to be respected. So in modern day terms, in the material sense or in the secular knowledge sense, secular is again a very loaded term, but again secular knowledge sense or non-spiritual knowledge sense, a person who is, say, probably doing research, a PhD. So it definitely means that if a person who is not a PhD student in IIT comes and waits, and a PhD student waits, so the professor has to attend first the PhD student, something like that, roughly translated. So this is how we should understand that the pursuit of knowledge has to be always given preference to any other pursuit. And within the pursuit of knowledge, the pursuit of spiritual knowledge should be given preference to the pursuit of material knowledge. Again, how do you see a person like Nachiketa going to, I mean, he was sane, he was not a lunatic, and also he had proper education. Then why does he go to his father and ask, whom are you giving me to? Because obviously no father will give one's son in a sacrifice. Nobody will do that, because son is going to remain with father. So why does he ask this? Did he completely lose it, or had he become a mad person? Why is Nachiketa, why on earth is he going and asking his father that whom are you giving me to? Because that question does not arise. He could have asked, whom are you giving your proper property to, whom are you giving the gold to, but he doesn't ask those things. He asks, whom are you giving me to? Isn't it a redundant question?
The answer which I understand is that because his father was giving, that old cows and all that, so he knew that I am the most beloved.
Exactly, that's what I am coming to. He was giving old cows, Jagdatrana, Dugdha Doha, Nirindriya, completely useless cattle he was giving. But then he could have asked, Father, whom are you going to give your reserve of gold? Whom are you going to give your good palatial building? He did not ask that. He is telling, whom are you going to give? That is an obvious question. He will not give his son.
The purpose of that yajna, Vishwajit yajna, was to cut the bondages. And the biggest bondage his father was having toward Nachiketa. That was the biggest bondage. He was said to his son. That's why in order to keep his son rich and happy, he was not giving good cows. He was giving bad cows.
Okay, can I ask you one question? Can I ask you one question? Now, is this coming from your own this thing, or you have got it from some text?
From something.
Okay.
Maharaj, I think the answer is that it was an expression of his Shraddha.
No, this is the correct answer, what he said.
That's it.
Because he got it from some text, and I know which text he's got from. So, anyway, that is the idea. This is a symbolic way of the Upanishad symbolic way to say that the sacrifice, Vishwajit sacrifice, was intended to cut the bondage, and as he said, the biggest bondage or one of the big bondages of a person is lokeshana, they say, means the putreshana, the attachment towards one's own offspring. Putra does not necessarily mean son, one's own offspring. So putreshana, Vedic Sanskrit, putra does not mean son only, it also means daughter. It is in the Laukika Sanskrit or in the modern day Sanskrit that putra means only son and putri means daughter. So this putreshana, that is attachment to the son, has to be destroyed, and that is why this suddenly Nachiketa is coming. You see, scriptures create stories and parables to make us understand certain ideas, certain concepts which scripture wants us to understand. Whether these incidents actually happened or not is a big question again. So these are all various parables and metaphors used by the scriptures. So this is one. And second thing, of course, is very obvious. Now Nachiketa's third boon is going to be what happens after death. He says, Asti iti chaike, nayam asti iti chaike. Asti iti eke, nayam asti iti cha eke. Means some say that the soul remains after the death of the body, and some maintain that it does not remain. So I am in a confusion. Please tell me what happens after death. That is what his question was. Now if that is the question, why does he ask the procedure to conduct this sacrifice? How many bricks are necessary? How they should be arranged? What kind of bricks, etc. Why go into so much botheration? Like in modern day context, if you are not going to live a worldly life, why don't you take directly sannyasa? Why go live a worldly life and then when you are like Jagdadrina, Dugdha Doha, completely useless, go and try sitting and trying to sit for meditation and fall into sleep. Why do that? So when you are young, just go for this spiritual life. So why doesn't Nachiketa directly ask the question instead of first asking about this sacrifice?
The answer is in current yoga. It is gradual evolution of a person. First he asks for his family and himself, then he asks for whole society, and then he asks beyond this body-mind complex.
This is not fair. This is not fair. You are directly quoting Shankaracharya's commentary. This is not fair. Yeah, it is so. It's not fair. So you see, you are putting other people in a disadvantageous position. It's not fair. Anyway, that is the reason. That is the reason. Again, scripture shows that dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The four stages in four purusharthas, four aims of life as per the Indian tradition. So it shows first that yes, his first question was that when I go back to my house, my father should accept me as he used to earlier. So he should identify me as a son, not say bhago bhutaya. So that thing should not happen. And that is what he prays. And second, he says that I need material prosperity. Because dharma, artha you need. And then out of artha you can have kama, whatever you desire. And that also has been metaphorically shown here. That kama is being offered by Yama as lot of temptation, many temptations in fact. Yama is offering. So a person, see, we will see this today. A person is getting so many choices. As I was telling you in the last class, if you remember, I was even quoting the Robert Frost, poet Robert Frost. So, a road less travelled, the less travelled road you take. So, we are the sum total of choices which we have made all through our lives. So, a person has, particularly in today's age, thanks to technology and also thanks to globalization, etc., we have a plethora of choices. Unlike any other age of human history, we have so many choices, and that's again a problem because we do not know which to choose, and also we crave for some choices which we have not chosen and get stressed. We have this stress, lot of stress. Everyone has got stress. So these choices make us what we are, and these choices again are in the form of naturally desires. Some fulfilled, some unfulfilled, some waiting to be fulfilled. So Yama figuratively, metaphorically brings us all these choices. And a person who makes the right choice, who does not limit oneself. You see, Nachiketa did not totally deny material prosperity. He asked for the secret of that yajna, that sacrifice. He asked the details of that sacrifice, how that sacrifice should be performed. So a person who does not totally, now the question is, should we not earn money, should we not have good job, etc. Yeah, you have, but that is the end. Nachiketa does not go more than that. He does not go beyond than that. He does not crave for more and more. So when Yama offers him everything, he resists those temptations, and then afterwards he asks for the spiritual knowledge. So this is how very nicely Katha Upanishad through these allegories is presenting to us this fact that in our lives, suppose you have a car, a vehicle, and an illustration which I again frequently tell you, at a given point of time you can use only one vehicle. So what is the fun in having a garage full of vehicles, a fleet of cars, just for flaunting your wealth? It doesn't serve any other purpose, really doesn't. You have a wardrobe full of clothes. At a given point of time you can only wear one set. So yeah, you have many, but what is the fun in having like a boutique or several boutiques as your personal wardrobe? Doesn't make any sense.
I think the person who are having it, it makes sense for them.
No, they don't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Otherwise, you have to.
No, believe me, we do many things which are totally nonsensical. Actually, we don't think about that. The only reason why you have is because you are carried away with that. You don't think. If you just stop and think, nobody will do that. And also some people genuinely have that to flaunt their wealth. That's a ego satisfaction. Whatever the reason may be, it's only a psychological reason. And why should we need to do that? That is what Upanishad is telling, that this is the place where you have to draw a line. You say that yes, enough is enough, I don't. And there are many people also who have enough wealth and yet they do not unnecessarily squander their wealth. They use some portion of the wealth for the welfare of other people. But strictly speaking, according to spirituality or spiritual thing, even welfare of other people is also maybe a tad lower than true spirituality, that is to find out your own self. But it is much better than to be engrossed in your own selfish life. Now this is one thing. And again another thing, can any one of you tell me what are the qualities of Nachiketa or qualities of any other people involved in this first section of the first chapter of Katha Upanishad, which we can directly imbibe into our lives without having to go into some forest or some retreat and do meditation? What are those qualities which we can in our daily current life directly simply take and implement?
Presence of mind. Presence of mind.
Presence of mind. What was that? Sadhana, I told you, without going to retreat. The moment you say sadhana, either some people remember an old film actress or they or they become afraid and they immediately run away. No, I understood your point, but I am saying that apart from this meditation and all those things, what is that, those qualities, what are those qualities which we can use? Say a person is not at all bothered about meditation and sadhana, etc. That's what I am telling. Either people remember that film actress or they run away because people don't want to close their eyes and think about themselves. For
Shraddha and presence.
that is your opinion. One is presence of mind, another one is Okay, let me put it very simply. What are the secular, non-spiritual qualities which you get from the discourse? Shraddha is a non-spiritual quality.
It is non-spiritual Maharaj. Shraddha is to some extent non-spiritual.
I don't know.
Suppose somebody is doing physics.
What is spiritual? Okay. Again the big question, what is spiritual? It is like asking you what is subjective and objective.
Spiritual beyond material. I mean,
Okay, but there is another, I am giving you a clue. What is subjective and objective?
subjective refers to a person who is experiencing it.
Objective?
Objective is irrespective of somebody.
Irrespective of the subject is objective, and referencing to the subject is subjective. Right? Very complicated, but somehow. So, yes. So, spirituality means anything which avrita chakshuhu, which makes you turn your mirror towards yourself. So, I am telling some qualities which do not even require that. Like presence of mind doesn't require that. Then? Huh? Then?
The way of negotiating with the people who are at higher position.
Huh?
Way of negotiating with people who are at higher position,
Wow.
like father or Yama.
Art of negotiation. Then? We need it very badly, no? Particularly in international relations, India needs.
He is always thinking about his action because he is quoting that what I will be doing will be like, he is thinking about his ancestor, like I should not be doing something.
Tell me the mantra. Okay, you don't know. Anybody can tell me the mantra? Huh?
One thing, witnessing the witness.
Either you have already realized God or you are already going to realize something. No, joking.
Trying to know the truth.
No, I am talking about secular qualities.
Trying to know the truth. This is true for science, this is true for spirit.
Common sense was one very important quality.
To love others.
Huh?
To love others.
To love others. How did Nachiketa love anybody?
Yes, he loved his father.
How?
And that's why he did it. He wanted to sacrifice himself. So he loved his father.
Okay. He wanted to sacrifice. Was Nachiketa really believing that he will go to Yama and not come back?
No, but that
I don't think so. He was very intelligent. He was more intelligent than that. Okay, I will put it in a very simple way. First is communication. How to communicate. I already told you I am talking about non-spiritual qualities. Communication. He could have told so many things, but he asked, whom are you giving me to? Communication. Second, self-esteem. Nobody said that. Very sad. Self-esteem, self-confidence. Bahunamemi prathama, bahunamemi madhyama. So, self-esteem. He is very clear. Self-assessment. He is very clear. Nachiketa is clear about himself. Who he is. What is his achievement. Very clear. Communication.
What is the difference between pride and self-esteem?
Oh, so much. Self-esteem gives you a proper idea of yourself. Pride means you know the answer. Self-esteem is not a negative quality. Self-esteem, self-confidence. Then Swamiji wanted self-esteem. He said, fathers, they tell their sons that you are nothing, you will become nothing, and that is what happens. So he says that you should know that in you all potential is there. So self-esteem, communication, and also respecting the elders, and what were you telling? Common sense, negotiation, and presence of mind. Presence of mind, negotiation. So all these wonderful qualities Nachiketa has. And according to me, most of the qualities we need. I will not elaborate on all these qualities, but I will elaborate at least on one quality, and that is self-esteem. Why? Because day in and day out, almost every day, not almost every day, and almost every hour of the day, I have to face a big problem, and that problem is lack of faith in oneself. Of whom? Indians. We Indians. Though I am a monk, I should not say we Indians, but okay, Indians have this tremendous lack of faith in themselves. Anything non-Indian is always supreme. It can be philosophy, it can be science, it can be religion, it can be anything. Just imagine if somebody is going to, I am talking about religion, just imagine if somebody is going to put the symbol of Om or the symbol of this Gurudwara symbol is there, or the symbol of Buddha in some place, there will be a lot of cry, hue and cry by those Indians themselves. Nobody will object, no non-Indian will object. We have this wonderful situation where Indians only will object, non-Indians will not object.
Object against what?
Use of this Om. You try to put this Om in a particular public place, immediately. But if somebody is going to put something else, say cross or something, nobody will object. Because in our mind we have been already told that anything which is used by foreign people, non-Indians, are wonderfully good. So you try to sell pitha, you know what is pitha, a kind of, you try to market it, you try to have a rural setup where people, this village ladies will make pitha and sell. It will not sell. But try to sell pizza, oh yeah.
It's selling in IIT.
No, IIT is not.
Whenever there is a fate, all these that Indian foods are sold very easily.
IIT is not. Try to sell it in Kolkata, and also Kolkata also, what I am talking about is not that kind of selling, proper marketing, organized selling. Simply people will come and cook and sell, that anywhere it will sell. We have tried it and it's a huge, what do you call, it was not, it's a huge failure. Because people don't want to eat pita, they want to eat pizza. PI is common. So like that, you try to, the moment you wear dhoti, you become what in Bengali we call Sheikh Ler Manush, means you are an old, you belong to the dinosaur age. No, you belong to the dinosaur age, you become a primitive man, somebody like that. But you wear any other dress, no problem. So this is there, but this is not there in a Japanese. They are so proud of the civilization. They wear their own dress. You see, a Japanese in one day, if they come across another person in the same building, they will always bow down. And it is very frustrating. Once or twice it's okay, like 10 times, 15 times in a day, your back will break. But they do it. And for a Japanese, do you know what is the most important thing for a Japanese? Can anyone tell me?
Self-esteem for their own country.
No. Most important,
Respect.
no. They will die, but they will not lose that. No.
They will not lose.
That. Huh? And you come closer, honor. For a Japanese, honor is the prime thing. They will die, they will give their lives. If honor is lost, nothing.
Swamiji, please don't mind. I'm just saying something different. See, the Vedanta Rai, Jyoti Basu, Purnam Mukherjee, they were all wearing dhotis and nobody has criticized them. Rather, everybody has praised them. They are maintaining the Bengali values about it.
No, I am not talking about Bidhan Chandra Rai and Jyoti Basu. I am talking about ordinary person. I am talking about, say, ordinary professor coming to IIT daily wearing dhoti.
Not only dhoti Maharaj, this even in Kanpur IIT, one was coming with what is that called, pajama and all that, and he was thrown out. That man is now in Akshar.
They can afford to be,
In IIT Kanpur.
they can afford to do whatever they want because that is a Bidhan Chandra Rai, that is a Jyoti Basu and whatever. But I am talking about the ordinary man. I know. Think of a student going to any university in our country wearing dhoti. What will happen to that student? It's a serious problem. I am not talking out of imagination. It's a serious, very serious problem. So let us face it, we lack self-esteem and we lack it in a very, very big way. How many of us are proud of our ancestors? We are not. How many of us are proud of our, first of all, how many of us are proud of Sanskrit?
See,
Proud but we
not
don't know it.
many of, but the government is doing like lot of.
Who forms the government?
We.
No, we don't. We are not giving any normal chance to vote.
Anyway, these are all questions which always you have to think, we have to think, because I think we have a power, and that power was recently shown by the incident of Nirbhaya, where spontaneously so many people came together. There was no organizational support, there was no political party support, nothing was there. It can be done, in every country it has been done. And we need to understand that yes, this is my culture, this is my tradition, I respect this tradition, and I don't want anybody to come here and say that you are a fool or something. I don't need. If the dress statement of some few countries can become the global dress statement, a shirt and a pant, why should even now an Indian who goes abroad, why can't he even now wear Indian dress? We monks, when we go abroad, we can't wear Indian dress. People come and, it did not happen only to Swami Vivekananda, even so many years afterwards, people come and try to pull the Indian dress. They ridicule, they create so much of problem. Why?
The problem is now another thing is our family they think they are Muslims and they are.
No, this can go on. The point is that we lack self-respect, and we always try to find respect in the ratification or certification of our culture by non-Indians. Why should Obama come and tell about Vivekananda and only then we rise up and say that Vivekananda was there? He was always there. Obama told, okay, good for him and for his country. So what? We always know about Vivekananda or about any other thing. It's not about a particular religion, it's not about a particular thing. I'm talking about a trait, a national trait, a negative trait of not having self-esteem that we should have. You always be apologetic of yourself. If this go on, what will happen in Swami Vivekananda's words? Jellyfish existence. That's what will happen. In fact, it is already happening. So this one, yeah.
Talking about Sanskrit and self-esteem.
Yes.
In India, how many schools are there to teach Sanskrit?
No, they are not.
Whereas France, the new president
Yes.
took over, immediately Sanskrit will be studied in the school. Australia, Sanskrit will be studied in the school. Outside will respect, we don't respect.
That's what. And if they study Sanskrit, suddenly we realize that there was a language in India called Sanskrit and we should also study. Why? Because some Jacob William or somebody has studied. This is the height of stupidity. Height of stupidity. So,
In Germany, they are doing research on Sanskrit so that it can be
no, no, Sanskrit also, this is an endless topic, but the point is self-esteem we lack. So, if you belong to a country, if you belong to India, first try to understand your own tradition. It can be any culture. The culture of Arunachal Pradesh, wonderful culture. The tribes of Arunachal Pradesh, you may think they were not wearing dress, but your idea of dress may not be their idea of dress. But they had a very specific reason why they were wearing that dress. Jarawa tribes, they don't wear any dress. But they also were not affected at all by tsunami. Nothing happened to them. Tsunami. So they have some wisdom which we do not have. Or the race of Punjab, or the race of Maharashtra, or the races of Tamil Nadu, or the races of Bengal. Each race has got some unique feature, has a wonderful tradition. Not 1 century, 2 centuries, 3 centuries, running into several thousand centuries tradition. Why should we forget these and go to some countries which, according to Swami Vivekananda, till the other day vermins were crawling on their bodies, means all their bodies were full of worms. What is the culture? How much old is their culture? 300 years, 400 years? And I was telling somewhere, and somebody asked me the reference also, that Australian Prime Minister 2 years back, the person who was the Prime Minister then, a gentleman, he was proud to claim his ancestry to thugs and thieves. His ancestors were all thugs and thieves, and his grandmother was a petty thief. He gave this, it was a media statement. And somebody asked me the reference, I sent the reference also. It was published in the Telegraph, etc. So you see, he was very proud that his grandmother was a great thief. And what thief, I can't tell. She was a thief of underwear, you see. That is the lineage they trace. And what is our lineage? We belong to rishis. Gotra, when you say Gotra in Sanskrit, it means that you belong to the tradition of rishis, Kashyapa, Bharadwaja, who spent so many years in understanding the mysteries of life, of science, of physical universe and the spiritual universe. That is our tradition. So how are we inferior to these people? And today if Australia is hurting, ridiculing, harassing Indian immigrants there, should we not do something about that? But we will not, because we know that anything non-Indian is gospel. So this is one message which we should carry home and keep it in our minds every time, that we should respect ourselves. A person who does not respect oneself cannot respect anybody. The lack of Shraddha or respect generally prevailing in this society now. You see, we have a wonderful education system where they say that science teachers should evaluate science answer papers, but should not bother about punctuation and grammar and spelling. What does that mean? So just see the content. Don't bother about handwriting, don't bother about neatness and all. When we were students also, I am not very old, in every subject we used to have some marks allotted for the neatness of the paper, for the punctuation, how you have presented. Why this fellow has to become a scientist if he pursues science as a career, he or she, and then she or he will have to write technical papers, publish in journals where this is very important. And that is again one reason why Indian people get published so less in journals. We have our own journals in our own universities, and all members of the university publish by turns, not peer reviewed journals. So we are making a laughing stock of ourselves because of lack of faith in ourselves. So let us at least, if not anything, take this self-esteem, bahunamemi prathama, bahunamemi madhyama. Now immediately you can ask me the question that, but Swami, we are neither prathama or madhyama in anything. We are always last. So how can we? So at least have that esteem that, okay, I am at least last. I can become the first. So it gives you more scope of growth and evolution. So this is what Katha Upanishad is, and Katha Upanishad has to be approached in this manner.
Swamiji, I have one question.
Yes.
The definition of Brahmin you have said.
Yes.
To pursue Brahman and all that. Now, this was definitely approved by Shastra and all that.
Yes.
Now, how come this situation came that suddenly the Brahmin sons become Brahmin without pursuing for Brahma and all that?
That is what was the result of priestcraft or tyranny of the priest class. Similarly, like the son of some particular person has to become the prime minister now in India. Same thing. So because a particular class or a particular family or a particular section of the society wants to keep some privileges to itself, it changes this wonderful institution of jati or caste, which was not based on heredity. Means what? Practically speaking, now this is again a discourse which people don't understand. When Swami Vivekananda says that jati was a wonderful institution, they quote him out of context to say that Swami Vivekananda supported casteism. No, he did not. He did not. What he means is a person in his own life can start as a Brahmin, end up as a Shudra, or can start as a Shudra and end up as a Brahmin. Jati is not limited to a particular time or a particular lifetime also. Just because a person is Kshatriya in the beginning does not mean he should be Kshatriya all his life. Anna Hazare was a soldier, but is he a soldier now? So that's what. I mean, you can change your thing, and we can go on quoting example. St. Francis of Assisi, he fought the Crusades. He was a soldier, but what happened? He became a saint. So from Kshatriya he became a Brahmin. Same person can have different castes in his own life. Caste is not based on heredity. It is not based on some particular section of the society. It is not based on economical condition. It is not based on any kind of language, religion or anything. Caste is not a Hindu phenomenon. So all these people who are supposed to know better, just because they are given money, pure and simple, by people who have an agenda, they write books saying that Swami Vivekananda was a casteist or Mahatma Gandhi did it like that. And these people basically they are suffering from frustration actually. They could not achieve anything in their lives, so now they are doing these things. So Jati is an institution or it is a way of life which can change in your own life. What happens now is when we enter educational institutions, we are in the pursuit of knowledge. So we are Brahmins. No, at least to that time, when you are a student, you are supposed to be Brahmin. At least we will give that benefit of doubt. So Brahmin. But once you come out of the school, what you do? You go and get some employment. You enter into service. We say service company, service industry. You become a Shudra. Service means Shudra. Another thing is, unnecessarily some class consciousness has been attributed to different castes. Brahmin is superior, Shudra is inferior. Nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort. Service is very much necessary for a Brahmin to pursue the path of knowledge. Service is very much necessary for the Kshatriya to fight. If the Kshatriya has no roads, how the army will move? Who will make the roads? The Shudras will make the roads. It's just a distribution of work, that's all. It's like having different ministries in the same government, that's all. We have to see in that context. But we are having so many preconceived notions in our mind and so little knowledge of Vedic or pre-Vedic civilization that we simply jump into conclusions. And which books do we refer? All written by people who have no access even to Sanskrit. All foreign scholars, we refer them, makes footnotes, endnotes, so much of references, bibliography. You will find not one book is from a Indian scholar, and even if it is, they are all referring to secondary sources, not one is the primary source. How do you know about history of India? First of all, Swamiji says Indians don't have a historical sense. So even to understand the history of India is first of all a big challenge. And then if you have to understand, you have to go to the Vedas, you have to go to the Upanishads, you have to go to the Puranas. It's a big archaeological exercise. So it's not a joke, just somebody cannot come and tell just because somebody has published a book in Oxford or Cambridge, I quote that book and say that casteism was in India. No. So this is a big, actually casteism, that's why Swamiji in Karma Yoga writes that everyone is great in his own place. In terms of casteism, we have to understand that. And Swamiji doesn't call it casteism, he used the word jati. Jati means what? A class. Class not in the sense of Marxist sense of class. Then you will have class struggle and there will be a lot of complication. So this class is a class where a category, a different ministry for a particular work. That's what. So today we will start with the first mantra of the second canto of the first part. And I request all of you, because some people are new, to participate in this discussion. It should be a discussion, it should be not, because these books of Katha Upanishad are available everywhere in almost all the languages and you can read it. So what's the big deal in coming here? So please participate in the discussion. So this mantra is Anyat Shreyo Anyat Utaiva Preyah Te Ubhe Nanarthe Purusham Sinitah Tayo Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati Hiyate Arthadya U Preyo Vrinite. There are two forces in nature. I told this to, I am the city editor of Prabuddha Bharata, a magazine which was started by Swami Vivekananda in 1896, and we have two other people. One is the main editor and another one is the assistant editor. So I told this to our assistant editor Maharaj that there are, in a different context, there are two forces. Swamiji says this, so I was quoting. So he also laughed, I also laughed, because we have an author, whatever he will write, in that there will be two something. Either there will be two forces or there will be two tendencies. So the author regularly contributes, so we were laughing that there are two forces. And there is another author for which everything is 3 points, for whom everything is 3 points. So whatever he speaks, he will bring it to 3 points. So anyway, here there are two forces, one is good and one is evil, one is selfish, another is unselfish, one is preferable and another one is pleasurable. Shreyaha is preferable and pleasurable is preyaha. So watching T20 match or anything else equally entertaining and relaxing. So you know this joke of relaxing, I hope. How many know relaxing joke? Okay, I am not going to tell this. See, two friends were sitting side by side and one fellow was telling 120 and they were laughing, ah ha ha. Another one was saying 345, he was laughing, ha 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 ha. Another fellow told 28, ha ha ha. So an onlooker got very upset. He said, kya kar rahe hain aap? What are you doing? This kind of. Then he said, no, we know many jokes, so we are only telling the number of the jokes. So 325 number, he knows, I also know. Save time. So two forces. So T20 is there, but you have left T20 or Spring Fest or whatever that is and come here for attending Katha Upanishad, which is practically very boring. So this is what you have chosen. You have chosen preferable. I will tell that. Spring Fest people will tell that that is preferable. So this is preferable to Spring Fest and that is pleasurable. So Shreyaha is preferable, Preyaha is pleasurable. Always we are given two choices, broadly. It's not so simple, we have many more choices, but broadly it is two choices, whether to take bribe or not, that is the choice, whether to tell lie or not, whether to beat this person or not, whether to lift this wonderful thing from the mall or not. So earlier people used to steal things because they didn't have money, now people steal things because they don't have enough money. And some people, they have this psychological disorder of stealing things. Even without knowing, they will steal. They will go to a mall and by the time they end up in the house, they will have so many things and they don't know this. And then they will call the mall and they say that sorry I have brought, and they will bill it. They have money, they don't want to steal, but it has become a psychological disorder. So these two duality of choice is there. Now what the Upanishad says is this. It says, Anyat Shreyah Uta Anyat Eva Preyah Te Ubhe Nana Arthe Sati, means Anyat, there is one, there is the another. So this one is preferable than the other and the other one is pleasurable than the other. So one is Shreyah as compared to the other one is Preyah as compared to the other. So Sati, in mantras, sometimes to keep the poetic meter, they don't use some words. So you have to incorporate, add. So that's why it is in bracket. Sati means nanarthe, because of different requests or different kinds are there. So Purusham. Purusham here again, though it is also in English translated as man, but man, not only man, Purusham means an individual. Sinitaha, bind. Tayoho. Shreyah Adanasya Sadhu Bhavati Usaha Arthat Hiyate Yaha Preya Vrinite. Sinitaha. So you see the person, there are two options. One is pleasure and another one is the preferable thing, which is not pleasure, but which is not so pleasurable, but which is good. So a person obviously makes this choice of either the pleasure or the good thing. But, so you have diabetes, you can't take jalebi because it is like poison for you. But if you take jalebi, that syrup inside the jalebi, you first bite it, then it slowly goes in. That experience is heavenly experience, you see. So that is very pleasurable experience. Forget about doctors and everything, take. Afterwards, jo hoga dekha jayega. So this is pleasurable. So you can either opt for the austere method of not taking jalebi and thinking about it for 3 days, or you can opt for the simple method of taking jalebi and afterwards paying to the doctor, and also maybe having so many sores all over your body which do not heal. So you opt for either of these options. So the Upanishad says tayoho means of these two, the good, if somebody is opting for the good, not taking the jalebi, that person is very good. Bhalo. Sadhu means good. This person is good. And a person who is opting for preyaha, that is taking jalebi, hiyate, that person suffers, he falls, he is undergoing degradation. Sinitaha, and he is getting bound. Bondage is coming in terms of eating more medicine, going to the doctor more often. So one jalebi can cause lot of problem. So preyaha yaha vrinite, one who chooses preyaha, the pleasurable, he gets himself entangled into lot of problems, bondage. And a person who chooses the preferable at the particular moment, at that given point of time, it is very difficult and etc. But afterwards it's okay. So when somebody is offering you a lot of corruption, something bribe, to say no at that particular point of time is very difficult. You somehow say no and get out of that place or do something. But then you will say that, Swami, you don't know anything about these things. You are in the ashrama where you are given proper food. If I don't take bribe, then I am probably thrown off my job, out of my job, and etc. etc. So that may be the case, but still you gain courage, you gain character. You gain character. And then you also have a reputation that this person is above board. So that is sadhu bhavati, that is good. But if you give in to temptation, then that is something which will take you down. What? You will not, at least for one thing, you will not be able to tell your child that do this, do that. Or even if you say, that will not have that kind of conviction, power in the words. Because you yourself tell lies, you yourself do not keep promises and you take bribe. So how can you expect your children to do that? So that is what. So hiyate, you fall. So this is again, we always come to, whenever we are talking about life, we always come to this two kinds of aspects of man, human being. You see, we don't need to go anywhere. In Gita, which long time back here it was discussed, in 16th chapter of the Gita, which is titled Daiva Asura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, the sampad or the properties of Deva, that is God, and the properties of demon are discussed. Why we should be discussing them? We are human beings. We are neither gods nor demons. So the idea of the Gita is that both these qualities of angels, that is godly qualities, and demon qualities, demonic qualities, are inside you. So you have to identify the demonic qualities and try to reduce or weaken them, and you have to identify the godly qualities and try to cultivate them. That is the idea. So this is Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Swami Nirvedananda, who was the disciple of Swami Brahmananda, who was called the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna and also was a brother disciple of Swami Vivekananda, he, in 1926, there was a convention of Ramakrishna Math and Mission held, and there he gave a lecture by the title Monster Man and the Divine Man. So in us, these two tendencies are there, always two tendencies. One tendency is trying to take everything from the universe and give back nothing. Another tendency is trying to give everything to the universe. And you are caught, you are enmeshed between these two tendencies. Psychologically, you want something for yourself and you also want to give something. So always this is a dilemma, a dichotomy, always you are caught in. And when you forget what actually human being is, when you forget that it is only human being which can, by various studies, which can actually laugh. No, there may be, it can be probably disproven, but human beings are people who can smile on themselves, laugh at yourself, joke, make a joke of yourself. And it is human being who can think of a being beyond human being. You can go beyond your mind, your body and think of something. You see, Swami Vivekananda very nicely put, he said that if you ask the pig the conception of God, it will be a huge pig which can constantly eat all shit of the world. That is the pig's God. So what is our conception of God? A person has 10 hands, 10 heads, etc. Because if we have more hands, we can do a lot of work. But it is human being which has a conception of an infinite existence, Advaita, a God without a form, that only a human being can think of. Only a human being can go beyond the body and mind, and that is why it's a human being. That's why it's called Manava, means one who can think, one who can contemplate, Manana. So when we forget that we are Manava, when we forget that we are human beings, what happens? We turn into monsters. Monsters can be anybody. It can be at a lower level and it can be at a higher level. It's only essentially the difference of degree, but the kind is same. So monster, we become monster. We want to assault, we want to rape, we want to kill, we get a gun and we simply start like Holi ki pichkari. You have this pichkari, when you spray all water. So he is getting a gun and he is spraying bullets. Well, people die, don't worry. I will also die, don't worry. So that is also another kind of Vedanta, but not exactly Vedanta. So this is what happens. So always we are going through this, and this Upanishad in this second canto immediately comes with this Preyaha Shreyaha. Very concretely it puts it, monster and man. Then we go to the next mantra.
These are two different things, fine. But when somebody follows Shreya, he must be getting pleasure for following the Shreya. That's why he is able to follow Shreya.
Shreya or Preya?
Yeah, so it's pleasurable. When he finds it pleasurable to follow Shreya, then only he can follow Shreya.
Pleasurable.
Yeah, it becomes pleasurable to follow Shreya, then only he can follow Shreya.
No, it will not pleasurable, maybe elevating, you can say. Elevating, not pleasurable. Maybe elevating, it may be ennobling. Like you are helping somebody, but you have to work for that. You have to give some part of your income, some part of your time, some part of your labor. You have to actually work. But at the end of the day, you feel this happiness, fulfillment that you have helped somebody. It will give you some self-fulfillment, some ennobling, some ennoblement or some elevation. That's what it will give. It will not give you pleasure. I don't think. Or if you take it in a different standpoint, it can give you ananda, which is not the same as pleasure. Bliss. It can give you, but it is a much more higher stage. Generally what happens when somebody does volunteer, yeah, you get bliss. You feel that yes, I work for the Lord or I work for the humanity, and you are so happy. You are not tired at all. You work for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. But had it been for pleasure, you become tired. So that is the difference. But pleasure as such may not be the term. You had something in your mind? Yes.
Pleasure is something to do with self-gain, personal gain, whereas ennobling is something beyond that, something which, as you said, it will not cease, it goes on beyond. Pleasure is for a small amount of
Not always. Suppose you are talking about Atma-jnana, self-realization. How will your self-realization help other people? Okay, Shastras, some places they may say that if you realize yourself, it helps other people. But Swamiji will say that always don't think about your own self-realization. Forget about self-realization and go and serve others. So, self-realization may on the face of it appear to be selfish, but it is not Preya, it is Shreya. Is it not? Not necessarily. There are two kinds of people. One, those who are prophets, who realize and stay back, and some people who realize and then they go away. Most of them are like that. Compassion and all that, like Buddha, Shankara, very few. Did you have anything to say? No? Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Unless he go into the depth and find out its value.
You see, to understand that fire burns the hands, I don't need to actually put my hands in the fire.
But once in a while he should attempt.
Once in a while I should put my hand in the fire.
No, not consciously. First everybody tries unconsciously. So and after that, after he touches the fire, so he came to know.
No. I did not come to know about the fire by touching the fire. I came to know because my mother said so. There is a tradition of...
But believing is different. Believing is not the experience.
Yes, believing is not the experience. It disturb করছে না কল আসেনি সুইচ অফ করে দিলাম ও ওইটাই ডিস্টার্ব করছিল নাকি ঠিক আছে সুইচ অফ করে দিলাম সো believing is not that is not, you have to do it, okay, but then that is to be taken in the positive sense. Suppose somebody tells you that this is poison, so you do not believe it, you eat the poison, then what? So instead of that, somebody tells you that you do this and you will become a millionaire, don't believe him, do it and see. Do you get the point? So if you are going to apply this in the negative side, then probably you will not be there.
I am not saying on the negative side.
Yeah.
So it is on the positive side.
So positive side, if automatically somebody, like in the Vedas, in Mimamsa, there are two kinds of statements, injunctions. One is called Vidhi Vakya, another one is called Nisheda Vakya. One is an injunction, another one is a prohibition. So what you are talking about, belief is not good for injunction, okay. You do it and see for yourself, wonderful. But for prohibition, you are told that when a tiger comes, climb the tree. You say, no, I will wait and see what happens.
Yes, it contradicts. Of course, my statement contradicts the situation, but whatever it says.
No, you have to put it in the practical context. So when prohibition is there, you see, okay, you go to, another thing what you can do is, you can listen to your tradition, your teachers, your superiors, and also the books, scriptures. That is what Shraddha is all about. And also you go up on the tree and there will be somebody wonderfully intelligent who will go in front of the tiger. So from top the tree you see that this fellow went to the tiger and what happened. So there also now your belief also has gone away. You have concrete proof, but not yourself. So this is how we have to practically adapt these teachings. You have to understand. Buddha said, do not believe something because it is written in a book. Okay, but what should I not believe?
But we have to analyze the things, what is good, what is bad for us.
Yes. No, actually you see, this is something every one of us knows. by nature, by default, by factory settings, we have a conscience. We know what is good and what is bad. Somehow by default every one of us knows. So it's not a problem. We can actually understand what is good and what is bad. And one litmus test was given by Swami Vivekananda. He said that anything which makes you strong, you do it, and anything that weakens you, reject it as poison. So that is another way of doing it, that you understand that something makes you strong mentally, physically, emotionally, intellectually, then you know that this is good. And another something which makes you weak, but that also you have to properly judge. If you feel that by beating 10 people you become strong, then probably judgment is not correct. So these two things come. Now, one question which we did not ask, or probably it would have come to your mind, is, you see, we see that these two options come to us, okay? Always we see. But why is it that the majority of cases we see that people go for the pleasurable? Majority of the people go for the pleasurable. Majority of diabetic patients will eat the jalebi. Why does that happen? New face, I see many new faces. Yes, can you tell? We know, see, a person, nobody is a fool, okay? We know that if I eat this jalebi, I will have to, my sugar will go up, etc. But why is that majority of the cases we actually fall for it?
It is easier to go down.
True, true. Did you have something to say? Yes. Just for satisfaction. Some two people are there behind. Please add some variety to the class.
So lack of pragya, you could say. Pragya is Hindi word.
What does this word pragya mean? What does this word vivek mean?
Actual true or what is actually false means?
Tell something. Something, some bites you give, no? All these media people, they are very much, sir, 2 bites dijiye. So like that you also give some bites. Or bite me, do anything. Something. Participation.
They don't understand the importance of health. They feel that
Instantaneous gain.
according to them, taste is more important than health.
Okay, break the silence. Break the ice. Something. Both of you. Something you tell, no? Because you see, we have a very bad gender ratio here, you see. You have to come in and help us. They don't talk, and like that we have. Tell us something. Why is it that people fall for these things? You have anything to say? Kuch to kahiye, something.
We are made that way.
We are made that way. So he is saying that it is essentially a manufacturing defect. Fine. Okay, I believe it. I am all for it.
They feel that is important than good things at that time.
See, everybody is telling something. Tell something.
It requires effort to do good things.
Actually,
Whereas it doesn't require an effort to do bad things.
like child,
Pull you down.
if you refuse to do some, if you refuse to come to do not do that, at that time the child will have some curiosity. I have to do that now.
Okay, pure psychology. She says that if somebody is asked not to do something, they will definitely do this. Okay. Any other point?
So it's easy to go for that.
It's easy. So basically you have summed up the situation. There is a famous, you have summed up the situation and yet the thing remains very confused. There is a famous song, I think I have told about it here earlier. How many have you heard Harry Belafonte? Okay. So have you heard Man Piyaba? Okay. So so this song is something like that. When I was a lad of 3'3", certain questions occurred to me. So I asked my father, you see, to tell me the story about the bird and bee, etc. And then he goes, it's a funny song, and he goes to the so many experts like Einstein and Freud and all that. So it was clear as it was clear, but and it covered the ground, but the confusion made me brain go round. So now whatever we have talked is very clear, but the confusion is making my brain go round. So why is it? Now this is essentially the existential question of our lives. We have so many answers, but the problem remains. The problem remains. Like first answer, which is very simple answer is,
I would say one answer.
Please.
One is unconscious about himself. And once he does not know about his mind. So he cannot know about himself.
So that is also a good answer. Now, okay, I will give you another question. Why is it that of so many people who apply to enter into IIT, very few get a chance? Difficult. So what is lacking? Brain. Brain is lacking, right? Coaching. You mean quota. KOTA, quota. So if you can somehow reach quota, you can reach IIT. Anyway, okay, whatever, effort and intelligence, both. So this prevents a common man or a common student from getting into IIT. It is the exact same thing which prevents a common person from going for the preferable, because lacks brains. Brains not in the material sense, vyavaharika buddhi, adhyatmika buddhi, spiritual brain is lacking, which is called dhi in Sanskrit. That's why dhiyo yonah prachodayat, Gayatri mantra. So that is lacking, and also effort is lacking. And as you rightly said, it is the tendency to go down. So water always falls from the top to the bottom, no? Natural tendency. Again, what is natural is a big question. If from Vedantic point of view, I will say the natural, what is your natural form or your true nature is that you are the Atman. So, but anyway, natural in natural, commonly understood as, that's what commonly as it is understood, natural tendency. So all these reasons are correct, and as she told that the moment you say that a diabetic should not eat jalebi, all you can think of is only jalebis. So eat as much of jalebis. So this is all put together, this is the problem, and that is what here the Upanishad says, Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitya vivinakti dhirah shreyo hi dhirobi preyaso vrinite preyo mando yoga kshemat vrinite. So you see, the question is pleasurable and the preferable. Preferable being Shreya and preferable being Preya is available to everybody. Then why is it that majority of people go for the pleasurable? That is the question. What is the cause? So the Upanishad says the cause is very simple. Shreya cha Preya cha manushyam etah. Means you think that two people are there. Okay. So say two people who are men think that they are women, and people who are women here think that they are men. So two people come to propose to you. Okay. So you know two people are coming. So Upanishad tells that these are two people, as though there are two individuals, the pleasurable and the preferable. They come to you. A person looks very beautiful, pleasurable. With lot of money, father is a great person. Handsome or beautiful, lot of money, pleasurable. Another person is very nice person with good character and also tremendous hard working nature and good qualification, etc., has a good job. Now who will you marry? That is the question. Whom will you choose? That is the question. So these two people have approached you. So the Upanishad says that these two people, these two individual people, as though these two characters approach everyone. Manushyam. All Manushyam, all people have to face this. They are approached by these two people. So what, like we get salesmen. There is a product which looks very good, very nicely packaged and so much. Another product does not look that good, but it is wonderful. German products generally don't look good, but they are the best, obviously. So electronic and all that. And maybe American or Indian products will be very nicely packaged. Indian I am not sure, but American products definitely are nicely packaged, but may not be as good as the German counterpart. So which do you select? That is the idea. So Shreyascha Prayascha Manushyameta, they approach. Etah is a different word, it is used in a different sense elsewhere, but here it is used in the sense of approach. Actually it is formed by two words, a and itah. When they are joined together, it becomes etah. Etah. Actually etani means these. That is used in a neuter gender, but here it is different. It is used in a different way. So when these two people approach you, tau samparitya, having examined, tau samparitya, properly examined. You go through all the catalog of the product, you go to website, see the reviews, how people have used it, and somebody says don't purchase this product, it is so hopeless product. So before purchasing a mobile, you go to so many websites, see that review, this review, and then you have lot of information even more than the mobile store owner. You go there, no, what a bhalona, it a bhalona. Why? Because you technologically sound. Googlaya namaha. So you read, you examine it from all the sides. Samparitya means literally examining from all the sides. All sides you examine. Vivinakti dhiraha. And after examining the dhiraha, dhiraha means a man of steadfastness. Here it means a person who is intelligent, a man of intelligence. So dhiraha, vivinakti, separates. We have this legend of Paramahamsa. What is Paramahamsa? This Hamsa separates milk from water. Every one of us should have one Hamsa in our houses. So whenever the milkman comes, we can put the Hamsa into action. But I don't know, I am yet searching for that Hamsa, we did not get. Only in pictures it is there. So it seems Hamsa can separate milk from the water. So similarly, Paramahamsa can separate the real from the unreal. That is the Viveka it has got. That is why Swami Vivekananda put the symbol, drew Paramahamsa in the logo which he made for Ramakrishna Mutton Mission. Just imagine, in another program elsewhere I was telling this, Swami Vivekananda in 1895, afterwards also, 1897 the mission was made, so he made this logo. Okay, so he was a wonderful advertisement person. Made the logo, then he made tagline. What is the tagline? Connecting people. He made a different tagline. He made tagline Atmano Mokshartam Jagat Hitaya Cha. Tagline. Okay. And then this person is a wonderful marketing person also. He wrote a book called Raja Yoga. He did the cover design himself. And he said, you give it to Longman's company because they are the best publishers. They have good networking. Vivekananda should have been here now. So people would have been reading advertising by Vivekananda, not Ogilvy and Mather. Anyway, so Vivekananda was much ahead of his times, and that is why even now we are not able to understand him. So Vivinakti, separating. So this Paramahamsa separates the real from the unreal. Swamiji says, Thakur says, Chinite balite mishiyache. No? Correct me if I am wrong, because I am not very good at anything. So, Chinite balite mishano. So what you have to do is you have to remove the grains of sand and grains of sugar are all mixed up together. Chit Jada Granthi. Consciousness and matter has been what we in Bengal call Jot Pakiye Java. It all entangled. So you have to remove that. So Paramahamsa does this. So similarly, Vivinakti Dhiraha, a person who is intelligent knows Preyaha from Shreyaha.